Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Drive and Five. Today, we're going up to Villa Rica, Georgia, with young pro truck racer Colton Kelly. Colton, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great.
All right. Well, I mean, since the last time that we were on, you had a pretty big day at Five Flags Speedway. And to say that you were dominating might be an understatement. So, kind of walk us through that. I know that you guys unloaded fast, but tell all the viewers exactly what happened at Five Flags.
So yes, we had a great weekend last weekend, and I'm really proud of my crew. We did a really good job of turning this truck around and then getting it back to victory lane. It's always been a fast truck. It's just we needed a little more speed to it, and we definitely accomplished that this weekend. But for starters, we did a test session earlier on that week, and I ran my fastest time ever at Five Flags by 2/10. So we already knew we were going to unload fast. Come to practice time, we were still first in practice on the race day, and we went into qualifying, and I knew we had some speed, but I didn't realize how fast we actually were, and we qualified on pole and 2/10 faster than the rest of the field. And this is my first pole too, this is my first pole in the big cars, and I was already happy enough for where we were. And we get out in the race, and I do the dice roll, and we start third. And on the first lap, on the back straightaway, I made it three wide, and there was some bumping and some racing going on, but I made it stick. I got out there, lap one, started leading, and I never looked back.
So, let me ask you a question. When you talk about practice and going out a week early and setting the fastest time that you've ever set at that track, where do you think you were making that time up? Was it a particular corner that you were really getting in and or off of better, or was it just literally just a faster truck and overall speed?
Yes and yes. And three and four, we were really, really good. I feel last year, three and four was my struggle bus, but this year we really conquered three and four. And also, we just had a really good setup. I felt there was a couple things that still need to work on, but all in all, we had a really fast setup on loading.
So I'm not going to take you to Vegas. Let's get that straight because you rolled a three. It could have been worse though, right?
It was only eight trucks there that weekend,
Right.
but three's not a bad starting spot for me.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So you take the green. I'm pretty sure that you probably don't want to try to do anything going into one and two because it's real easy to end up in the turn one wall up there if you make a mistake. So you're heading down that back straightaway. What's going through your mind? How are you thinking? I'm going to set these guys up to pass them, basically going into and or going into three or coming off of four. So kind of walk us through that mindset.
I think it honestly starts before the race because I was sitting there in third. I'm like, I know these guys. I'm faster than these guys. I need to figure out the fastest way around them because there was another faster truck there that weekend. And I needed to figure out the fastest way to get around him in the fastest amount of time. And I was thinking if he had a bad initial start, I was going to make it three wide, but I kind of decided to back against that on the initial start because, like you said, it's very treacherous getting there in turn one, making it three wide. Usually does not work out in your favor, and you usually cost you a wreck. But I kind of took that into consideration, and I saw that the first and second place trucks they got together and they moved up the track just a little bit, and I stuck my nose in there and I made it stick, and I knew I had to go, and I just like I said, I never looked back. I never looked in my mirror and just led every single lap.
So let me ask you though, it isn't sometimes like when you're out in front of everybody, it's almost like it's a little bit more pressure because you know that everybody in the field, every single truck in that field is chasing you.
It's definitely a little nerve wracking sometimes, but I try to do the best I could, not looking at my mirrors, because that kind of it makes me go slower, to be honest, because I'm checking the gaps between the car distances, and it slows me down because I'm just thinking about too much during the races. So I really relied on my spotter. But yeah,
All right. So led every lap, pulled it into victory lane. What was the celebration like? Was it almost like, oh my gosh, we finally did it? I mean, and
I
again, for a lot of people that may not know about Five Flags, I don't care if you're racing a go-kart or a bicycle, winning at Five Flags is a big deal.
it is. There was one restart that we did do, but it wasn't. It was with 10 to go, and there wasn't a whole lot to it. But yes, to answer your question, I was just so excited. I almost ripped my helmet plug out. I almost about destroyed about $300 parts, but I settled down for a second, and then I took the checker flag. I walked out on the front straightaway, and I did the Kyle Busch bow, and that was. I've always been a fan of Kyle Busch. He was my legend growing up, and I wanted to do something for my first one and remember him. He died the day before my birthday, so it was. I felt like I needed to do something.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I actually saw that and I thought it was very um, it was just the right thing for you to do. Again, you're number 18. I mean, that's why you put that number on your truck, right?
It is. He's the reason why I wear the 18 proudly.
Well, congratulations on you. And I know there's a lot of people around you that make all of this happen when you go and you're that fast. And who would you like to give a shout out to real quick?
I want to thank my partners and my parents. I want to thank the Lord first for blessing me with these opportunities like they do. I want to thank my parents, my mom, and my dad. They put so much effort and time into this. I want to thank my pit crew, Stephen Davis, Todd Martin, Eddie Hollingsworth, and Gene Eubanks. They really made this truck fast this weekend. And I want to thank my partners, Pave America, Southern Protection Agency, Southern Drywall, JJC Electrical, R&R Electric, D Geronimo Companies, Express Construction Services, and all of my other partners.
All right. So what's up next for Colton?
It is a truck race at Cordele in 2 weeks. We already got a good baseline. I have only been there once. I haven't raced there or practiced there. I've just been there to watch. But I feel like we can unload, and I think we can go fast.
Being a big Kyle Busch fan, I think you should do a little research and see one of the races that Kyle raced there, because he was always great about going back to Cordell and running some of the races to just to kind of draw fans to that racetrack. And I was listening to Sirius Radio on my recent trip to Charlotte, and they were talking about him going off in the watermelon field, which would be off into turns 3 and turn 4, and how he was back in there. But the way that he got back on the track was that he drove behind the stands and came all the way around that way to get back up on the track. So might be something you want to check out because it was actually pretty funny.
I've heard that story before.
Okay, so here's the best way to avoid that. Don't go off on turn 3 and 4. Try to stay out of the watermelon patch.
Keep it on the track. That's right.
Keep it on the track. Well, Colton, thank you so much for joining us. And that's it for this edition of Driving 5. We'll be back with Colton as soon as he gets done with the race at Cordell. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you back here real soon.